Most of them are autistic as well, as you will know,
Yep.
and most of them are LGB.
Because there is going to be like this segregation. I think Canada, is it Canada that recently did the whole segregation of LGB and everything else. I think I saw a post about that. I can't remember.
I think it is. I think it was Canada. I posted that last night. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, we finally got our divorce, guys.
Well, I mean, I'm just grateful for the fact that they're actually paying attention to us, and they're actually, trying to separate, gender ideology and sexual orientation. And I think that that's definitely a step in the right direction.
Siren, please may I make a t-shirt that says in capital letters LGBT and then small letters ERF?
Yeah, absolutely, go for it. I will buy it.
I'd buy that. I'd buy 10.
Yeah. That LGBT turf put me right off my fucking tracks. Do you know, that's amazing. I was going to bring up the fact that I usually like to spend time on TikTok and I just hide over there and I learn a lot of stuff. And what I've learned recently, because I hadn't been on it for a while, is that, well, I'm sick of seeing all these ads for sure, right? The adverts are everywhere. But it's also like when I'm scrolling through my phone, it's either adverts or lives. And I swear to God, I am sick to the back teeth of seeing these fucking men on lives calling themselves women. I usually like to spend time on TikTok. It's always very sexual when the men are trying to be the women. It's not so much when the women are trying to chop their breasts off to be less sexualized and hide their bodies more. The men are always wanting to be sexualized. There's such a big difference.
Absolutely. And I have friends, like male friends that I helped, like that wanted to, for different various reasons, like shop in the women's department and like buy clothes and stuff. Like, I don't care. I'm like, whatever. If that's what floats your boat, then that's what floats your boat.
There's a transsexual woman in my life who I unfortunately can only call an acquaintance, not a friend, who does the whole, well, I'm actually more of a woman than you, EJ, because I chose, like, I no, she doesn't say chose. It's I elected. I have to work to be a woman. It's an intentional thing. And so that means I'm actually more of a woman than you. You don't make any effort to be a woman. Anyway, we parted ways after that. It was infuriating. Yeah, that grates on me when trans women say, and not a lot of them do, but when they do, and I've seen it on TikTok, like Amanda was saying, that
I usually like to spend time on TikTok.
there's a lot of it on TikTok when they're sat there going, I'm going through my period, and they're thrilled. They're sat there saying they're upset, but you can see them grinning ear to ear. I swear to God, trans people don't do this. It's people who are like, not virtue signaling necessarily in a purist way, but like they want to put you down, and they've just got a perfect disguise by calling you transphobic.
At the beginning, did you happen to discuss like the different definitions? I know Lucky described that yesterday in her stream really well, as far as trans and transgender and those kind of things, those differences.
Oh, okay? So like the difference between like a transgender and a transsexual, like transvestite, crossdresser, like these are all different, terms, and not everybody knows them. So a transsexual is somebody who has an actual diagnosis of gender dysphoria, and usually you go to a psychologist, a doctor, to get that kind of diagnosis. And you don't have to be medicalized to have that diagnosis, but like that's where you kind of fall under that category there. And then you have transgender, which transgender now, it used to be that, the definition originally was kind of like you had to be like somebody that had a diagnosis, and then like it was like an umbrella of transgender. But now they've kind of taken that term and they've created it where you can self-ID as transgender. So any person can decide that they feel that they are the opposite gender, and it's a self-ID.
And there's also the issue of, I think it's the Anti-Defamation League. If you noticed on their website, after you do a little digging, they have like literal Nazi symbols right next to the word ACAB, as they're equal to the meaning the same thing. They're both that offensive, and I find that quite ridiculous. And I think they're trying to do the same thing with this issue as well.
So I was gonna
Like,
speak
what?
about a post that I saw. They were celebrating the birthday of Alan Turing on an LGBT Twitter page, and they said that he was a defender of LGBTQ plus diversity rights. He never defended gay rights at all or LGBT rights. He was prosecuted for being gay. He was given Lupron, the same drug that they give to children, chemically castrated, and he ended up committing suicide. And they used him, that poor man, for their own agenda. Honestly, I've never been so angry.
I used to say trans women are women. I used to chant that. What I meant and I knew it was a lie. What I meant was trans women are equal, or they deserve equality, and they don't deserve to be targets of harassment or discrimination. When you see, I watch a lot of the coverage of the Let Women Speak rallies, and far from it being a crowd and the counter protesters that show up, far from it being a crowd of trans people, it's primarily men, and they're getting younger and younger, which is quite scary. So it's men, the male kind. Cool, I'm done.
So I've been saying LGB anti, meaning that, we have the LGB, which is about our sexuality, and then you putting the and symbol there, or that, or saying and anti for transsexuals, because most of the time the transsexuals actually, like, they're like, it's like a
I
cousin,
like
you know what I
that.
mean?
I like that because it's not
It's
about, and
not,
obviously it overlaps.
Making trans as if it's an actual normal thing. Do you know what I mean? We're putting it on
yeah,
flags. We are telling,
yeah,
most of them are autistic as well, as you will know,
yep.
and most of them are LGB,